Want to know the latest in soccer? Then listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast. From MLS, the World Cup, and the Premier League, we've got you covered. The latest updates, the hottest matches, and news on the league's top players. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast.
David Beckham scores the goal to take England all the way to the World Cup finals.
Listen now.
Thank you for listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast, where we discuss all news in the world of soccer. My name is Ben Brown. We're turning back here on a Monday, recording another episode of the GSMC Soccer Podcast, and boy, oh boy, am I looking forward to this one. We got a lot of great storylines and headlines to talk about here in the show. We're going to start off right away looking at the Champions League. We literally have to. We're going to look at what happened this past week, as well as look ahead to the games tomorrow and Wednesday. The finale in the knockout stage. We'll know our last 8 by Wednesday. And then we just kind of go from there. We have to look at what the quarterfinal matchups will be. It's really rampant down. I am kind of sad because we're rounding out the end of the soccer season. It's March, about end of May, early June, and we're done. Although we do have transfers to talk about right after that, so it never really ends. It's definitely getting a little disappointing because we're almost ending with the games for now. We had a great summer this year with Euros and Copa America. We don't really have that to look forward to this summer, just a lot of rumors, speculations, transfers, so it's definitely a little unfortunate, but we're going to have to definitely look at that and see what we can do. So probably do a lot more in-depth previews this summer. But anyway, we're talking about the Champions League, and that's where we're going to start off the show today. Talking about what happened on Tuesday between Real Madrid and Napoli, and then on as well as Tuesday on Arsenal and Bayern Munich, and then Wednesday, Borussia Dortmund and Benfica, and Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain. I think I'll leave Barcelona and PSG for last. So let's talk about Tuesday. Real Madrid and Napoli, the second leg going back to Italy. Real Madrid did have a 3-1 lead after they defeated Napoli 3-1 in Spain. So Napoli needed 2 goals to 0 to go through, or little different stipulations. Napoli had 1. I mean, they played really well in the first half. They got a goal from Dries Mertens in the first half to go up 1-0 at the half. But then from that point on, it was all Real Madrid. 3-1, they win the second leg and advance into the last 8 with a 6-2 aggregate win. They hit 2 goals in the game from Sergio Ramos. I mean, I don't know what else to say about Ramos, and I'll talk about him more in the next segment with the La Liga segment. But honestly, he might as well be a striker because all he does is score goals. Like, he might as well get put up front and score these header goals because that's all Sergio Ramos does, like literally. He's absolutely fantastic. Real Madrid advance over Napoli, 6-2 aggregate. And then on Tuesday, we had another game where we had the exact same storyline from the first leg. Bayern Munich 5, Arsenal 1. Arsenal got a goal in the first half from Theo Walcott to go up 1-0 at the half. They played really well. I feel like they got some unfortunate refereeing in the first half, even the second half too. Laurent Koscielny gets sent off in the 55th minute. Robert Lewandowski converts a penalty. And then the floodgates really just opened from there. Bayern Munich all over Arsenal. A couple of goals from Arturo Vidal. And they defeat Arsenal 5-1 in England for a 10-2 aggregate scoreline. Really, really unfortunate. The biggest defeat by any English team in the Champions League aggregate-wise. And this was just absolutely poor. I'm not a big believer in one guy makes a huge difference or really deters everything. But Laurent Koscielny on the pitch for Arsenal in these 2 legs. Because remember, he did get injured in the first leg. When he was on the pitch, Arsenal were ahead of Bayern Munich 2-1. When Laurent Koscielny was not on the pitch, Bayern Munich defeated them 9-0. Really, really unfortunate. Arsenal now out of the knockout stage in the Champions League for the 7th year in a row now. 3 of them being by Bayern Munich. So a little unfortunate there that they keep drawing Bayern, but Bayern Munich absolutely dominate them on their way in to the last 8. On Wednesday, Dortmund returned home to face Benfica. They faced a 1-0 deficit, and they quickly turned that around. They get a hat trick from Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, as well as a goal from the American Christian Pulisic to defeat Benfica 4-0 and advance on aggregate 4-1. No real surprises here. I did think Dortmund would advance through. Played absolutely fantastic. Really, really pushed the trigger and really were the aggressors against Benfica in this game on Wednesday, and they played really fantastic. And then that gets me to Barcelona and PSG. I said last week I didn't think Barcelona would do the unthinkable, but if any team could do it with how they're playing recently, it would be Barcelona. And what did they do? They did the unthinkable. The greatest comeback of the ages. The first team ever to overcome a 4-goal deficit in the Champions League. They defeat PSG 6-1. This game was absolutely crazy. Barcelona go up 3-0 in the 50th minute. So you're thinking, oh my God, one more goal would make it a 4-4 scoreline. We're looking at extra time. If Barcelona were to get 2 goals, then they would go through 5-4. What happens? Well, Edinson Cavani scores to make it 3-1 in the game, but 5-3 aggregate. And of course, since PSG did score in that game at the Camp Nou in Spain, they would have that tiebreaker on away goals. So Barcelona needed 3 goals in the final 20 minutes to complete a comeback. They would do it in 7. Neymar scores in the 88th minute. Neymar once again in the 91st minute. And Sergi Roberto, with literally the goal of his life, a lob ball right over the top. He runs in past the back 4, puts it right past the keeper in the 95th minute to give Barcelona a 6-5 aggregate lead and the victory over PSG. This game had a lot of questionable refereeing calls as well. There's even a petition going around that has over 150,000 signatures to replay the second leg. Of course, that's not going to happen. I mean, Javier Mascherano got away with a handball in the box. Possibly some offside calls on some of those goals for Barcelona. But I don't want to hear any of that. PSG literally gave the game away. They choked. This is kind of the year of the choke in sports. The Warriors choke a 3-1 lead to the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Atlanta Falcons choke a 28-3 lead over the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. And PSG choked a 4-0 lead over Barcelona in the Champions League. Absolutely miraculous comeback by Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez, and Neymar and company. All 3 of them did score in the game. I can't believe they did it. Even after Cavani scored, like up 3-0, I'm like, okay, they have a real shot here. Then Cavani scores, I'm like, game's over. There's no way now. They scored 3 goals, 88th minute, 91st minute, 95th minute to complete the comeback. I can't believe they did it, but Barcelona are through in to the quarterfinals. We could honestly still see 4 teams from Spain in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, depending on how Atletico Madrid and Sevilla fare out. Just to think about that is absolutely ludicrous. But now let's get in to talk about the previews of tomorrow and Wednesday in the Champions League. Tomorrow we have Juventus with a 2-0 lead returning home to Italy against Porto. And we have Leicester City facing a 1-goal deficit going back to the King Power Stadium in Leicester. Juventus have a 2-0 lead, both those goals being away goals. I don't see how Porto can even think about a comeback in this instance. Juventus simply just do not lose at home. The winning streak they have in Serie A at home is absolutely crazy. They're by far a better team than Porto. They have 2 away goals. If they even score 1 goal in this game to go up 3-0, I think you'd say it'd be lights out. I fully expect Juventus to go through into the last 8. I'd say at least by 2 goals. I'll say 3-1 in this game. I'll give Porto an away goal. And that takes us to Leicester City and Sevilla. Of course, after the first leg in Spain was when Claudio Ranieri was sacked as manager for Leicester. And they've been playing exceptionally well since. 2 consecutive wins in the Premier League since the sacking of Claudio Ranieri. But Sevilla are a different kind of monster. I really do think Sevilla will be able to prevail in this game. All Leicester really need is a 1-0 victory, and they will go through against Sevilla because they had an away goal in Spain, and they're only down 1. Although I don't think that's going to happen. I think Sevilla are definitely one of the more underrated teams in all of soccer. Think about all the options they have up front. Samir Nasri as well. Steven Nzonzi in the midfield has been so good all year long for Sevilla. I fully expect Sevilla to defeat Leicester City tomorrow in England and go through into the quarterfinal of the Champions League. On Wednesday, we have Monaco and Manchester City. Manchester City go to Monaco with a 5-3 lead. All Monaco need to do is get a 2-0 victory against Manchester City to advance into the quarterfinals. We saw 8 goals in the first leg. We're going to see a ton of goals on Wednesday, I really do expect. Radamel Falcao may not be playing in this game. He is facing a fitness test coming back from an injury. So if he does not play, that'd be a huge loss for Monaco. Remember, he did score twice in the first leg in Manchester. Kylian Mbappe is fantastic over there on that left-hand side. I mean, Monaco just scored more goals than literally anyone in all of Europe. Monaco have literally set a club record this weekend with a 2-1 victory. They have 84 goals in League One this season in 29 games. That's a club record. There's still 9 games left to play. They could easily look at 100 goals. They score more goals than anyone in all of Europe. They're going to need a couple of them on Wednesday against Manchester City. Can they do it? Of course they can. Manchester City have a really horrendous back four. They're going back to Monaco, going back to France where they have the home field advantage. It's possible, but I think City will probably get a goal, which would mean Monaco would have to win 3-1. Sergio Aguero has been playing really fantastic for Manchester City, and recently he's been in good form. So I think City will go through because, simply put, I just think they're a better team. I mean, Monaco have a huge threat because of how many goals they can score, and they have those 3 away goals. So that's a big tiebreaker advantage if it needs to get that far. But I just trust Manchester City a little more. I think Pep Guardiola have his boys ready to play come Wednesday. And then we have Atletico Madrid against Bayer Leverkusen. Atletico Madrid have a 4-2 lead currently going back to Spain. I don't see any way that Bayer Leverkusen can advance. They did recently sack their manager, so maybe they'll have some added motivation for this game. Atletico Madrid have 4 away goals, so they're going to have that tiebreaker. Even if they lose 2-0 in this game, they would still go through. And I don't see that happening. Antoine Griezmann's been playing fantastic lately, so I fully expect Atletico Madrid to go through, Manchester City to go through, Juventus and Sevilla to join Barcelona, Dortmund, Real Madrid, and Bayern Munich in the last 8 of the Champions League. But we'll see. We'll talk about it next week. We'll talk about these last 4 games, look at the last 8 matchups, and so on and so forth. We'll take our first break of the show. After the break, we're talking about results from this weekend in soccer, all the results from the weekend. Big result for Inter Milan on Sunday against Atalanta. They win 7-1. They pull a Germany-Barcelona score there. Or a Germany-Brazil score there, sorry. So we'll talk about that and more after the break here at the GSMC Soccer Podcast.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Thank you for turning back to the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast. Talk on results from this weekend. Talk about the Premier League first of all. On Wednesday, there was a game besides Barcelona and PSG, and that's Manchester City and Stoke City. They were making up their game, which was scheduled to happen this Saturday. Although City were in FA Cup action, they were not able to have that game. So they had it on Wednesday. It was a 0-0 draw. Disappointing result there for Manchester City. Hull City get a 2-1 victory over Swansea. A big result there for Hull, who are in the bottom there. Everton win 3-0 over West Brom. Romelu Lukaku a goal and an assist. He's playing fantastic this season. Bournemouth get a hat-trick from Joshua King to beat West Ham 3-2. And then yesterday we had Liverpool beating Burnley 2-1 at Anfield. Goals from Gigi Wijnaldum and Emre Can. All the other teams were not in action because one or the other were in FA Cup action. So in the FA Cup, we are in the last four. We do have, well, not necessarily. We do have three of the last four. Chelsea and Manchester United will play later today in their quarterfinal. United facing a lot of problems. They're not going to have really anyone to be their striker. Ibrahimovic is suspended. Marcus Rashford is sick. Anthony Martial is injured. Wayne Rooney is injured. So I'm not sure who they're going to go with up front. Possibly Fellaini, Marouane Fellaini. We have seen that before, although he is a midfielder. Kind of just that big physical threat to put balls in and hopefully head him home. Interested to see what Jose Mourinho decides to do for that game against Chelsea today. So I would honestly just give Chelsea the edge. But in the FA Cup, we're in the last four. We do have Manchester City, Tottenham, and Arsenal, and then the winner of Chelsea against Manchester United. So when you look at the table, the top three are unchanged. Chelsea, Tottenham, and Manchester City, all of them have a game in hand. Liverpool in fourth with 55 points. Arsenal fifth with 50 points. And Manchester United 6th with 49 points. Those two teams both have a game in hand as well. So let's look at La Liga. Deportivo and Betis on Wednesday played to a 1-1 draw. On Friday, Espanyol defeated Las Palmas 4-3. Valencia and Sporting Gijón played to a 1-1 draw. A lot of draws here. Sevilla and Leganes 1-1. Alaves defeat Malaga 2-1. Atletico Madrid get a goal from Antoine Griezmann in the 88th minute to beat Granada 1-0. Atletico Bilbao defeat Real Sociedad 2-0. Deportivo defeat Barcelona yesterday 2-1. So Barcelona, that great performance on Wednesday, and then they have the letdown against 17th place Deportivo. Ouch. Bad result there for Barcelona because Real Madrid, it's that guy again, Sergio Ramos, scores for Real Madrid to defeat Real Betis 2-1. Los Blancos go top of the table again by 2 points. Villarreal defeated Celta Vigo 1-0, and today Osasuna and Eibar will lock up. So as I mentioned, Real Madrid, a game in hand, have a 2-point lead over Barcelona. They have a 5-point lead over Sevilla with 57 points, and a huge drop there to Atletico Madrid in fourth with 52 points. Bottom of the table, Osasuna with 10, Sporting Gijón with 18, Granada with 19, and then Leganes with 25. In the Bundesliga, on Friday, Bayer Leverkusen and Werder Bremen played to a 1-1 draw. Bayern Munich defeat Eintracht 3-0. Darmstadt defeat Mainz 2-1. RB Leipzig suffer a bad loss. A goal from Mario Gomez for Wolfsburg gets the victory there 1-0 over Leipzig. Freiburg and Hoffenheim played to a 1-1 draw. Hoffenheim got a draw. Are you surprised? Not really. I mean, they do have 12 this season in the Bundesliga. Ingolstadt and Cologne played to a 2-2 draw. Hertha Berlin do defeat Borussia Dortmund 2-1. A goal from Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is not enough as Hertha Berlin do defeat Borussia Dortmund there. Schalke defeat FC Augsburg 3-0, and Hamburg defeat Borussia Mönchengladbach 2-1. So Bayer Leverkusen slowly extending that gap. A 10-point lead now over RB Leipzig, 59-49. Borussia Dortmund in third with 43. And then Hoffenheim in fourth with 42. Hertha Berlin fifth with 40. Bottom of the table, Darmstadt 15, Ingolstadt 19, and Hamburg 26, as well as Werder Bremen and Wolfsburg 26. So good points there for Wolfsburg and Werder. In Serie A, Juventus get a controversial 2-1 victory over AC Milan. A 94th minute penalty by Paulo Dybala gets the winner there, but it was really controversial. Probably should have not been a penalty. Sampdoria defeat Genoa 1-0 on Saturday. Yesterday, Bologna defeat Sassuolo 1-0. As mentioned, Inter, a huge 7-1 victory over Atalanta. Hat-tricks from both Mauro Icardi and Ever Banega there for Inter Milan. Chievo defeat Empoli 4-0. Fiorentina defeat Cagliari 1-0. Udinese defeat Pescara at 3-1, two teams near the bottom of the table there. Roma defeats Palermo 3-0, and Napoli defeats Crotone 3-0 as well. Today we have Lazio and Torino getting ready to kick off in about 3 hours from now. So Serie A table, Juventus 8-point lead at the top over Roma. Napoli in third, 2 points back of Roma. Inter jumped to fourth with that big victory over Atalanta. They have 54 points, although Lazio could jump up to fourth with a 3-point victory today. They're at 53 points, only 1 point back of Inter Milan. At the bottom of the table, Pescara looks like they're definitely getting relegated. They have 12 points through 28 games. Crotone, 14 points, and Palermo, 15 points. And then Empoli, 22, so a 7-point cushion there for Empoli at the relegation zone. In France, we had a Nice and Caen 2-2 draw. Marseille defeat Angers 3-0. Monaco defeat Bordeaux 2-1. 84 goals, a club record for Monaco with 9 games left in Ligue 1. Nantes defeat Montpellier 3-2. Gincamp defeat Bastia 5-0. Big victory there for Gincamp. Rennes play Dijon 1-1. Lille defeat Nancy-Lorraine 2-1. Saint-Etienne and Metz play 2-2 draw. PSG get a really, really close victory 2-1 over Lorient. And then Lyon, a 4-0 victory over Toulouse. Memphis Depay scoring from nearly midfield. A nice volley. Memphis has been playing fantastic for Lyon. In 9 games, he has 5 goals and 4 assists. I did say when he got transferred there that I thought he would play really well in the French league. A little change of scenery. Had a lot of pressure on him at United wearing that number 7 shirt. And I felt like going to the French league where there's not a whole lot of defense, he would really, really fly. And he's playing fantastic over there on the left-hand side for Lyon. Monaco are still top of the table by 3 points, 68-65 over PSG. Nice drop a couple points. They stay third with 63. And then a huge gap to Lyon, 13 points back of Nice, 18 points back of Monaco with 50 points. Marseille fifth with 45. At the bottom of the table, Lorient, 22 points, Bastia, 25 points, and Nancy-Lorraine, 28 points, as well as Dijon. So 17-18 between Dijon and Nancy-Lorraine ought to be interesting for that last relegation spot. We'll take our last break on the show here at the GSMC Soccer Podcast. After the break, we're going to be looking ahead to this weekend. We will have games in the Premier League, I promise you. It was an FA Cup week, so we do have some game in hands for some teams. Big one on Sunday, Manchester City against Liverpool. We'll preview that one. Look at all the other leagues as well here at the GSMC Soccer Podcast. Last break. Don't you guys go anywhere.
Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
Cristiano Ronaldo, all the guy simply does is score goals and break records, breaking another one yesterday with his headed goal over Real Betis. Mentioned Sergio Ramos, the other goal, the winner there for Real Madrid. Cristiano Ronaldo now has the most active headed goals within La Liga. He's got 46 of them. He breaks Aritz Adari's record of 45, who currently plays for Atletico Bilbao. And counting. I mean, Adariz is technically still counting as well. But I would count Ronaldo to get more headed goals than I would Atletico Bilbao striker Aritz Adariz. I mean, I don't know what else to say about the Portuguese man. He's done it all with the exception of winning the World Cup now. La Liga looks like it's in grasps this year. Great team, great players around him, and congrats to Cristiano on his headed goal yesterday. So let's talk about games coming up. We're going to start off with the Premier League as always. On Saturday, West Brom will face Arsenal. Definitely needing a big result there when they go to the Hawthorns. Crystal Palace will take on Watford. Everton will battle Hull City. Sunderland will face Burnley. Stoke City will be battling Chelsea. West Ham will take on Leicester City. Have to see how Leicester can continue their impressive Premier League form since the sacking of Claudio Ranieri. Bournemouth will battle Swansea. Big game there for both teams near the bottom of the relegation zone. On Sunday, we have a couple of nice games. Middlesbrough will take on Manchester United. Tottenham will battle against Southampton. And Manchester City will be facing Liverpool. Tough matchup here. Two teams, both within the top 4. Liverpool seem to always play well against teams within the top 6, but then they really struggle against teams within, I guess you can say, the bottom 6. Yesterday, overcame a 1-0 deficit to defeat Burnley at home at Anfield. Have to see how they'll do against City on Sunday. Hopefully their big players step up for Liverpool and they get a result for Liverpool fans, and hopefully for Manchester City fans, they get a nice result there. Let's talk about La Liga now. On Friday, we have Las Palmas against Villarreal. On Saturday, Eibar will take on Espanyol. Atletico Bilbao will face off against Real Madrid. Interesting there. Talked about Aritz Aduriz and Cristiano Ronaldo for the headed goals in La Liga. Have to see if either of those guys can add to those tallies on Saturday. Alaves will face off against Real Sociedad. Real Betis will take on Osasuna. On Sunday, we have Leganes against Malaga. Deportivo against Celta Vigo. Barcelona will look to avenge their loss over Deportivo against Valencia. Definitely looking forward to La Valencia fans for this one. I think Barcelona will come out with a vengeance and play really well. Sporting Gijon will take on Granada. And then the big game on Sunday, Atletico Madrid against Sevilla, 3 and 4 respectively in La Liga. Sevilla, of course, third. They have a 5-point lead over Atletico Madrid. Sevilla, really that quiet team, like I mentioned. Atletico Madrid, you all know about them. Yannick Carrasco, Antoine Griezmann and company, they're always fantastic. That'll be a great game. We're looking forward to that one. I think because Atletico Madrid are at home, I would give the edge to them over Sevilla, although Sevilla seem to always play well to step up under Jorge Sampaoli. Let's look at the Bundesliga now. The Bundesliga on Friday, Dortmund will take on bottom of the table Ingolstadt, definitely needing a big result there. They're still capable of catching RB Leipzig in my eyes. They are 6 points back. Catching Bayern Munich is literally unreachable at this point, 16 points back. So battling for the top 2 with Leipzig and Dortmund ought to be interesting to see. Even Hoffenheim, only 7 points back of Leipzig right now. So on Saturday, Wolfsburg will take on Darmstadt. FC Augsburg will take on SC Freiburg. Werder Bremen will take on RB Leipzig. FC Cologne will battle Hertha Berlin. Hoffenheim will battle against Bayer Leverkusen, and Eintracht will take on Hamburg. On Sunday, we have Bayern Munich taking on Borussia Mönchengladbach, and Mainz taking on Schalke in the Bundesliga. In Serie A, some good matchups. On Saturday, Torino against Inter Milan, AC Milan against Genoa. On Sunday, Empoli will battle Napoli. Sampdoria will battle Juventus. Atalanta will take on bottom of the table Pescara. Cagliari will battle against Lazio. Crotone will take on Fiorentina, Udinese against Palermo, Bologna against Chievo, and then Roma will take on Sassuolo. The top 4 battle in Serie A is going to get very, very interesting. You have Inter Milan, Lazio, Atalanta, and AC Milan only separated by 4 points. That 4th spot is going to be really, really interesting. If I had to venture a guess, I'm going to go with Inter. Inter have been playing really, really well in 2017, and I think they're in really good form right now. And then we're going to finish off here with League One. On Friday, we have Metz battling Bastia. We have Lille taking on Marseille. Nantes will take on Nice on Saturday. Nice need to find a way to get a victory to compete with PSG and Monaco at the top of the table. Nancy-Lorraine will take on Lorient. Toulouse will take on Rennes. Angers will battle against Ginkamp. Bordeaux will take on Montpellier. And then on Sunday, a couple of games I'm looking forward at. This one is PSG against Lyon. I feel like Lyon can kind of be the spoiler, especially with their team. Alexander Lacazette, Nebel Fekir, and now you throw in Memphis Depay on the left side. They could be the spoilers to some of these top 3 teams if they battle Monaco. In this instance, PSG or Nice. If they could get a victory over PSG, that would do wonders to help Monaco, who are taking on Kane on Saturday, or I'm sorry, on Sunday. So that would do wonders for them if they could get that victory. And I feel like they could definitely be the spoiler. You know, Lyon could definitely ruin some things at the top. So as I mentioned, Kane against Monaco, Saint Etienne will take on Dijon, and PSG will battle against Lyon. That's going to end the show for today, guys. Thank you for listening. Another great episode here at the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast. We'll be back next week talking a lot of the same stuff any big news in the world of soccer, as well as the Champions League, the last 8, who is in it, who is going to be battling each other, that and more here at the GSMC Soccer Podcast. Thank you for listening. Have a good day. My name is Ben Brown, and we'll see you next week.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.